cost 0 AP. There's probably a way to game that, but I'm not smart enough. Is this better than what Argento's got? No. No. It's better than what he's got? He can't even use it. Okay. Can Ulfar use it? No. Can Pascal use it? Yes. Well, that seems like a strict upgrade. A rarity. Can Ulfar use this? No. God damn it. Fucking Space Marines. He's gonna use the Inferno pistol, though. What's the Inferno pistol? 30-40? Well, you know. Can I use it? No. Can Jai use it? She can use it. Sure, whatever. What about this? Heavy armor proficiency? Deflection against non-human enemies, compared to 15 armor against ranged attacks. Better dodge penalty. This is probably better. If the wearer equips 2 pistols, they gain plus 10 ballistic skill and 10 hit chance. There's probably someone we can put that on. Karu's temporary wound, we're not using that. The wearer and adjacent allies cannot fall prone and they become immune to forced movement effects. Man, if this was the second time you were playing through the game so you knew exactly which enemies could actually do that, this would be sick, I'm sure. But that's just not going to happen. Well, somebody might not have boots, to be fair. Medicae and Karus. Whenever the wearer uses a medkit for the first time in a round, it costs 0 AP. This might be better than something Argenta has. The wearer gains get back in the fight ability that costs 0 AP. Somebody can probably use that. Okay. Tight. Send the rest to the garbage. Oh, God. Is that everybody? Okay. God, so much inventory management. And I stopped playing the game for like 3 weeks, so I don't remember anything that was going on. Oh, you can't use this? God damn it. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. The elderly man in front of you is moving with noiselessness of an experienced servant. Has the font changed? The font looks different. He bows primly and says in a raspy voice, "Your Lord Inquisitor bade me to inform you that it was his pleasure to see your ladyship at his palace. There are matters of the utmost urgency he wishes to discuss, and he hopes you will find time to meet him in the near future." Who are you? My name is Forsher, your ladyship. I have the honor of being the Lord Inquisitor's retainer. The man is unarmed and wearing no Inquisition insignia, but the military sharpness of his upright posture suggests he is a servant who doubles as a bodyguard. I shall visit the Lord Inquisitor as soon as I can. I will pass on the good news to the Lord Inquisitor. The man bows respectfully again. Funny, you kill the other rogue trader on the station and suddenly he's eager to speak to you. Oh, right, crazy. Hey, ma'am. The Lord Inquisitor is engrossed in studying star system charts and reports, which are amassed on the desk like ridges of a formidable mountain range. There are shadows beneath his eyes, which are ruthlessly dissecting the latest report, and his skin seems stretched taut over bones of his skull. Without turning his head to you, Calcazar says wearily, "Greetings, your ladyship. Your timing is impeccable." An aged servant with the bearing of a veteran approaches the two of you. In a precise movement, he replaces the untouched cup of cold recaf in front of the Lord Inquisitor with a new one, slightly steaming. The warrior Fenris folds his arms on his plated chest regally and says in a dour voice, "Greetings, Inquisitor. You and I need to talk." Calcazar bows respectfully. "Glory to the Emperor's angels of Fenris. Your words will be heeded, my lord." You know, let's not be an asshole to the Inquisitor. It's just, it's just not. May the Emperor grant you strength and some time to rest, Lord Inquisitor. The corners of Calcazar's mouth creep upward. In a befittingly grave tone, he replies, "I would be loath to trouble our master with a prayer for such indulgence, especially one so utterly inappropriate at this fraught time." Calcazar notices Argenta and inclines his head with a dignified air. "Sister." The Battle Sister's eyes gleam as the Lord Inquisitor addresses her. "May your path be blessed. It is gratifying to see that the trials endured by the Expanse have failed to extinguish the flame of your fortitude." Jai touches the Aquila on her chest and drops her head in an unnecessarily deep bow. "O Lord Inquisitor, smiting spear of the Imperium, with the gold of faith cutting through the nebulae of the Coronis Expanse." Calcazar raises a hand in warning. "If I were you, Mistress Hidari, I would endeavor not to draw the Inquisitor's attention to my person. The Inquisition's attention to my person. A mercatum tabula official can do many things. Reattaching a head to a body is not one of them." Calcazar gives your retinue a cursory glance until his gaze rests on Mara's eye. This is going to be awkward. "Incendia has allowed a Xenos of the most dangerous variety to roam freely on footfall. The esteemed Lady Chorda has a frankly surprising amount of respect for the privileges bestowed by your warrant. I would rather think the monkey fears what may befall her should she try to get rid of me." The Drukari stares boldly at Calcazar with no deference whatsoever. Perhaps he has no inkling of who he is talking to. "You wish to speak to the Lord Inquisitor Ulfar?" "Indeed. You petitioned our aid in fighting Xenos. We spilt much alien blood, but the wind of battle carried me far, and I lost contact with my pack. Do you know where I can seek out my brothers, the Baleful Howl?" "I'm afraid not. According to the information in my possession, they withdrew from the battle raging in the Expanse." The Inquisitor's deferential tone now carries a dry edge. "You lie. The Baleful Howl never run from battle." Ulfar's reply to the outrageous claim is surprisingly calm. Only the frosty chill of death born of his voice and carried across the room makes everyone's hair stand on end. "What do you mean by withdrew?" "Contrary to my request to continue hunting the Xenos, they embarked on an expedition whose objective is unknown to me. There have been no word from them since." "Sounds suspicious. This is not how we wolves conduct ourselves." "I can tell you no more. As you well know, the pack preferred not to report their plans and intentions to me. Albeit no match for Ulfar's tongue of ice, the coldness in Calcazar's voice, too, could freeze an entire world." "Why do you think they diverted their attention?" "I presumed it was to search for Brother Ulfar. It is common knowledge how deeply space wolves value the ties of brotherhood, far more deeply than the ties that bind them to the subjects of the Emperor." Spuddling, please. "People disappearing in the vicinity of an Inquisitor is always cause for suspicion." "If this is some scheme of yours..." The Inquisitor dryly interrupts the All-Father's warrior. "Dare I remind you that your presence in the Expanse is not a favor to me, but the promised repayment of a debt? I was not so haughty when I returned your lost brother to Fenris. I did not demand recompense for my faithful servants who died saving him. I kept secret those details that could have damaged your honor. Why, then, does your gratitude taste so poisonous?" The mention of Ulfar's lost brother makes him grind his teeth in anger before he falls sullenly silent. "Is there any way you can help find them?" "No. But I believe I know someone who is better informed. I know I'll name that person as soon as we finally start discussing the matter that prompted me to summon your ladyship. I escaped from Comera, where I was held captive by Xenos." The Inquisitor raises an eyebrow, impressed. "You escaped from the Dark City. A feat that few have accomplished. Truly, I congratulate you on an exceptional performance, and I won't even mar your triumph by telling you that the Inquisition will, of course, be watching you very closely henceforth. I sincerely hope your grand escape was not part of the Xenos' devious machinations. What's the current situation in the Expanse?" "The cult of the Final Dawn and Drukhari raiders are vying with each other to see who can cause us the greatest turmoil. I have mobilized all the forces I can to repel the attacks, which is why we are still alive. Combined militia brigades are hunting the Xenos and guarding convoys, and expeditionary platoons under my command are crushing heretic rebellions. The situation is unstable. I will not pretend that I was prepared for this crisis. However, we have not lost our footing yet." "What prompted the Drukhari to act so brazenly?" "Prisoner interrogations indicate that a relatively major political upheaval has taken place in Comera. The Cabal of the Reaving Tempest has lost its grip on authority and become a target for enemies and rivals. Many vassals and members of the Cabal decided that fleeing to real space was preferable to waiting in Comera to be killed." "Intriguing news about the fate of my Cabal. More so than expected." "Why has the cult of the Final Dawn become more active?" "The warp is raging. The baleful sign always portends change, and crises beget desperation, the most fertile ground for heresy. I believe the archenemy's servants think their time has come, or perhaps this day is marked in their profane scriptures the date of the end of existence. I'll not trouble myself with further attempts to make sense of their blasphemous doctrine. They're bent on destroying us all, and so they must be destroyed." "What makes you think you are capable of commanding the whole sector?" "Do you see a better candidate for the job?" The Lord Inquisitor closes his eyes wearily for a moment. "I may no longer be in the first flush of youth, but believe me when I say that there are many things I would much rather be doing than playing constable for the Coronis Expanse. But alas, every ruler in our sector chooses to confine their concern to the well-being of their own holdings, whereas I alone must take care of all." "You've mobilized all forces, but not House von Valancius. Are you not standing before me now? While your status remains unclear, I preferred not to requisition the resources of von Valancius' protectorate. Your people dealt with Uralon the Cruel's agents and with Xenos raids, and that was enough for me. But now is the time to add your might and talents to the scales." "But you must have an ingenious plan to save the Expanse." The glance tossed at you is like a shot from an auto-pistol at point-blank range. If such a plan were to exist, information about it would be of the utmost secrecy. I suggest you focus on the current strategy of putting out each fire as you encounter it. "I understand. I see no need to get bogged down in the details. To appraise you of all the information I currently possess would require more time than we have. What was the dispute between you and Caligos Winterscale? His lordship deemed it more important to show off his stubbornness than to safeguard the interests of the Expanse. Stupidity of the most burdensome kind. But my sources inform me that he nevertheless has joined my efforts against the Xenos, and so I have decided to stay any sanctions. For a time." "Why do you think he acted that way?" "His lordship has long displayed a susceptibility to corrupting ideas. His loss of interest in managing his protectorate and his appetite for violence drew my notice some time ago. After a moment's hesitation, Calcazar adds, "The only question that remains unanswered is how many agents of the archenemy have infiltrated his entourage." Did you even try to discuss it with him, or did you immediately set Incendia on him? The Inquisitor's jaw hardens. Despite the impression I may have created, I am not a schoolmaster obliged to rein in misbehaving rogue traders. Caligos rejected the call to fulfill his duty to the Emperor. What discussion was there to be had? Caligos was under the influence of the ruinous powers, but I put an end to it. How curious. When this is all over, I will certainly call you as a witness at Caligos' trial. Together we will decide how best to handle him, while ensuring the safety of the Expanse. Are you aware of the changes Incendia has wrought on Footfall? Naturally. Her ladyship has done me an invaluable service by taking on the task of instilling order on the station, though her style of leadership seems unnecessarily brutal to me. Fuck. If an Inquisitor is saying you were unnecessarily brutal, that's how you know you've gone too far, dude. On the whole, her actions have not exceeded the bounds I set. Ma'am. Fuck. If an Inquisitor is saying that you're being unnecessarily brutal, dude, you gotta re-examine what you were doing, man. You were doing something pretty dire. If you think she is unnecessarily brutal, why have you not intervened? Firstly, I entrusted the task to her ladyship, and she is executing it competently. And secondly, Ophelia, are you unaware of what I am striving to do here? At present, I am trying to prevent the deaths of billions, yet you ask me why I am choosing not to save hundreds. I put an end to her dictatorship. The Lord Inquisitor does not appear aggrieved at the news. As I understand, this was a private confrontation between two rogue traders, yes. As such, I hope your house will reach a reconciliation with her ladyship's heir. You have not hindered my plans. Lady Incendia purged Footfall sufficiently, and I was not distracted by the need to pacify it. What help do you want from me? Frosher, if you please. The Inquisitor nods imperiously at the servant, who draws some kind of remote control from his pocket. All sound, whose sources are more than 3 meters away, fade to nothing. To my chagrin, the ability to be in 2 places at once does not number among my talents. That is why I wish for you to serve in my stead. I place such trust in very few people, you understand. You will feel what it is to walk in my shoes and attempt to compel a gaggle of quarrelsome blockheads to work together. You will reconquer Ephurates 2 for me. The Inquisitor gestures to the servant, and the silencing field disperses. Frosher, another recalf. This one has gone cold. Pascal jerks his head up, clearly recognizing the name Calcazar just uttered. Is he your valet or another Inquisition assassin? Why can't both be true? Frosher has been a member of my retinue for 50 Terran years, and the person in my entourage who comes closest to being my confidant. Something akin to a warm smile touches the Inquisitor's lips. We have had cause to be involved in many incidents whose reports have since been marked with a seal of silence. Frosher nods deferentially, and on his aged, jowled face appears an expression caught between eternal loyalty, motherly affection, and religious devotion. To what do I owe such an honor? To whom else could I entrust with this mission? No need to feign ignorance, Von Valancius. We both know the shortcomings of the other 2 candidates for this position. I just walked into this room with a cold trader and a Drukhari. There's also an Eldari on my ship right now. But you know, at present in the Expanse, there are 2 people with the perspective and steady hand required to control the situation, and they are both standing in this room. So if you will, dispense with the humble rogue trader act and win this war for me. What can you tell me about Euphrates 2? A sacred world of the Adeptus Mechanicus, off limits to lay people. I am one of the few who do not worship the Omnissiah to have set foot on its surface. Or rather, I was. Now it is crawling with unbelievers. The despicable Word-bearers attacked and captured Euphrates II, and the Cult of the Final Dawn brought an entire horde of heretics to the planet. Well, Word-bearers, it could be worse. There's worse groups of Space Marines that could be there. Chaos Space Marines that could be there. Fuck, what are they called? The Night Ravens. Night Lords? Night Lords, I think. They would be probably the worst ones. Registering a Sanctity Alpha priority mission, the scourge of corrupted misbelievers reigning over blessed workshops fills the Omnissiah's faithful with anguish. Activating auto-asceticism protocol, I offer a prayer for the liberation of the sacred world. From beneath Pascal's crimson robe comes the sound of mechanisms whirring to life, and dark bloodstains streak across the fabric. I sent my troops to aid the explorative forces laying siege to the world, but a rift occurred among the commanders. They need an authoritative general, and you're perfect for the role. My confidence is not misplaced, I trust. What matter first brought you to Euphrates II, out of interest? An utterly transparent attempt to learn secret intelligence. I often make you my general, and you tried to pump me for information. Poorly done. Alright, dog. Whatever. The Word-bearers went there themselves. They didn't just send their puppets. Clearly the stakes for them are high enough. Erlon the Cruel has stirred his profane self to make a personal presence on Euphrates II. Konrad Voigtke, incidentally, is also there. I hear you two have unfinished business. Him I will generously leave to you. When you are finished with him, you may simply dispose of his mortal remains. No need to surrender them to the Inquisition for an inquest. Consider it my gift. What do they want with Euphrates II? The reasons behind their machinations would be pure speculation at this point. Bring me prisoners to interrogate, and perhaps we will gain some much-needed insight. What forces do we have in place, and what is this rift that occurred between the commanders? Explorator Feat Divine Cognizance 78-21 recalled its most combat-ready units to retake the world. They were supported by the most powerful strike fleet and a group of deadlier allies. I dispatched a pack of space wolves to hunt down the transgressors. Unfortunately, the leaders failed to find common language. The esteemed Thorvald is at odds with the conclave of the Mechanicus' battle congregation, and the Omnissiah's servants find Thorvald's strident nature off-putting, and neither group is fond of militant Sibilik, who commands my forces. We are not fond, to be precise. The esteemed militant perished along with his ship a week ago when his noble allies failed to support his offensive. The Inquisitor bows to Ulfar curtly. I recommend that you too go to Euphrates II, my lord. Perhaps your pack was less reticent with the esteemed Thorvald than with me, and told him where they decided to direct their efforts. As if I'd go anywhere without the Space Marine, if that is an option, It is a fine suggestion, which I accept gratefully, Inquisitor. The expression of respect on Ulfar's face does a poor job of hiding his antipathy. How did you manage to enlist the aid of the Angels of the Emperor? It's entirely at their command to do so. Stupid question, really, but I must remind you that I am still Lord Inquisitor of the Coronis Expanse, not merely some, what do you always say, Thorsia? Some grox-bothering prick. You can be both. If certain rogue traders at times allow themselves to speak to me in overtly willful manner, they should not give you cause to doubt my authority. They are, in fact, second only to the Emperor. Actually, are they second to Gilliman as well? Because I think Gilliman is meant to be serving in the Emperor's place right now. I'm not sure. Either way, the Inquisitors are definitely above the Space Marines. They're also above the Grey Knights? Or are the Grey Knights counted as part of the Inquisition? I don't know, man. The lore is fucking complicated. The situation is clear. You will be given the details when you arrive in orbit around Euphrates 2.
Deal with it yourself. Clearly not an option. I will smash the heretics.
I never doubted you, your ladyship. The Emperor protects. Calcazard nods at the paper that his servant has deferentially delivered to the table. This document attests to the extraordinary powers you now have at your disposal. I am counting on your success, Ophelia.
Tremendous.
I always have
Let's get going. What the fuck? There was in fact a patch in between sessions I've had here, but this seems to have changed significantly. Emperor's Miracle? That's where Euphrates is. Okay. Oversized asteroid. Rare find. What's this? Oh, right. That was the one that just didn't go away. Alright. Let's go hold the War Council. Let's just, do that later. I still don't overly care for this space combat business. I will... Nope, never mind. There it goes. Sure, we'll take some more. Oh wait, what do you got over here? A celestial body holds 0 interest as an object of study. We can continue onward. Thank you for your input, Pascal. That was very helpful.
Lord Captain, the united corps of the explorators and the militia forces is ready to attack the heretics who overtook Euphrates 2. The commanders recognized the Lord Inquisitor's sanction and agreed to cede the right of supreme command to you. They ask that you summon a war council in order to establish a plan of attack. How shall we respond?
Summon them to the bridge. We will hold a council.
Consider it done, your ladyship. I will notify the commanders that you are ready to meet with them.
Let's see how difficult they're going to make it. Take your time.
The leader of the Explorator warriors appears on the bridge, and the deck trembles beneath his metal gait. He has acquired a new set of fearsome armor since the two of you last met, and his mechandendrites are now fitted with more formidable weapons of destruction.
Unit Opticon 22 initiating identification official greeting procedure, unlocking the option of strategic data exchange.
The Emperor's Angel, who follows in his wake, is clad in armor with the colors of a tempestuous ocean. You hear his voice, throaty and brimming with untamed boldness and strength. Which one of you Huskarls is Ophelia von Valancius? I'm Thorbold Ironhide, and I wish to see the mortal who has been granted the honor of leading my pack into battle.
You are looking into Ophelia von Valancius, Thorbold Ironhide.
Thorbold takes the measure of you and nods in satisfaction. I know the habits of a warrior when I see one. You're no indolent Hajoke. Definitely not how you say that. Good. I give my approval. We will hunt with the base-born heretics together. You have not changed, brother Thorbold. High-handed and brazen without measure, and you carry yourself on another Drekkers like it is your own. The wolf bursts into booming laughter and bares his long fangs. Such is the breed of leaders, Ulfar. We stand out. 'Tis you, ever lost, who cannot find his way when the sun is right over his head. Another explosion of Thorbold's boisterous laughter drowns out Ulfar's stifled yet furious string of curses. Opticon 22, how did you go from overseeing logistics to commanding armies? He has gone through quite the arc, hasn't he? He was just a merchant when we first saw him.
This command promotion hierarchy status update was executed following the deft decommissioning deconstruction of the ship Teeth of the Wrathyear. The fleet's war conclave was operating aboard that vessel. Unit Opticon 22 received premature rank promotion modernization to Magos Dominus based on his extensive catalog of recorded combat engagements. May your service benefit from the updated protocols that were bestowed upon you at the new analytical data that was entrusted to your elucidation. May the Omniscient guide operate this unit in cause mission algorithm of service to him. Let us commence this war council.
What good is another war council with a cog priest who knows not the joys of battle, who cut off his parts and replaced them with augments to please his all-knowing master? He will propose again a cowardly plan unworthy of warriors, as is the custom of his brethren. Registering a display of impertinence, data insufficiency in regard to the military craft, eradication methods of the Adeptus Mechanicus. And you are... Are you having another fight, gentlemen? How predictable. A woman in heavy armor walks onto the bridge, cloaked in an air of supremacy. You remember seeing her before, in the retinue of Xavier Calcazar, when he barged into your chambers after your Magnae Accessio. Thank you for not starting without me, Acolyte Aishara, dispatched by the Lord Inquisitor to facilitate the operations on Euphrates II. My role in this war council is that of an advisor.
Aishara, why are you here, even though you just told me?
The Lord Inquisitor entrusted me with the task of forging an alliance between the assembled fleets and the forces of the Cognizance Fleet. Once this task is complete, I am to act as an observer and a special operative.
And what are your responsibilities as a special operative?
I'm afraid the Lord Inquisitor did not give me the authority to elaborate on this matter. There's no surprise in my heart. The Inquisition is, as always, too ashamed of its dark deeds to reveal them to honorable fighters. Thorvald makes a show of spitting on the floor.
Whatever, man. Just go for it. Why did Calcazar choose you? I happen to have some experience with large-scale bloodshed, Rogue Trader. That, and I never fail to deliver results. What troops can you spare to reinforce our army?
The militia forces have already been transferred to Opticon 22.
All I have left under my command is a tactical unit explicitly instructed to carry out the Lord Inquisitor's special assignments.
I see. Now let us move on to discussing how we intend to kill the heretics. I require a full report on the situation at the front.
Euphrates II is a forge world. Manufactorums and extractiums take up most of its surface. Upon corrupting them, disrupting their production algorithm, the heretics enhanced their ranks with possessed mechanisms and false, defective, traitorous Skitari, whose protocols were disfigured with indoctrinating scrap code. Our forces have secured minor footholds on the surface, but are unable to deliver an effective blow to the headquarters operations center of the profaners in the Machine Cathedral at the heart of Manufactorum Sigma S13. According to available data, it is the current location of the arch-heretic, termination target, the Dark Apostle, Urlon the Cruel.
We may outnumber the enemy, but ours is a poor warband. All it has is steel curls of the Omniscient and scantily trained serfs from across the expanse, while our foe is the detestable but nevertheless deadly putrid-hearted traitors from the ranks of the Word-Bearers, and their vessels protect the Machine Cathedral from orbit.
Why have you still not commenced a planetary assault? There is a conflict, critical error, categorical lack of understanding of the imperatives of this operation within our chain of command. Unit Thorvald Ironhide is in favor of the strategy of mass destruction, which would constitute an unacceptable violation of the right of operation. Every square meter of the manufactorums is sacred, of high productivity value.
Which is why the Cog Priest is so intent on hindering and sabotaging our assault by refusing us forces and landing trekkers. But Thorvald Ironhides won't fight on the terms of the priests. If my battle plan is rejected, the Omniscient's servants can retake the planet themselves. Maybe they think their lives mean nothing compared mean nothing compared to their precious cathedrals, but a wolf knows what his life is worth.
Opticon, I must say, my curiosity is piqued. The explorators are hiding something on the planet, something you refuse to show to anyone and now loathe to destroy. What is it?
The tech priest Vox creaks stubbornly. Request denied. The Omnissiah's mysteries procedures conducted on Euphrates II are to remain undisclosed according to the protocol vow of preservation of the hallowed from the profane. This is why on Fenris we have the priests follow the warriors, not the other way around. The priests never think about the battle ahead, only their tenets and taboos. But a wolf must think only of battle and his enemy's death, not about preserving cathedrals or counting the trophies that await him.
Opticon, what do you propose our plan should be?
Our strategic analysis points towards a full-scale offensive as the optimal course of action. The losses among the troops, insignificant personnel, laity, will be numerous but will not exceed acceptable parameters. Replenishing such losses will be less arduous than repairing the damage that may otherwise come to the manufactorums.
Thorvald, what would you do if you were in command of this operation?
I would rain down vengeful skies upon the enemy. I would plow the land of Euphrates II with shells, shatter their defenses, level the fortified towers, throw their host into disarray, and in that whirlwind of fury I would lead my glorious pack to pave the path of blood for the cogcreels.
I've heard your opinions on this.
Choose your strategy wisely. It is not every day you get to heed the advice of a seasoned warrior, one chosen by the Old Father himself to bring death to the foes of humanity.
You two do not get along well, do you?
You read hearts like they're inscribed with runes, Ophelia. Thorvald lets out a mocking chuckle. 'Tis true, my brothers and I grow tired of this cog-priest and his naysaying. For whatever reason, he thinks himself our lord.
I concur with this statement. Given that the military action at Sacred Purgative Crusade eradication procedure is taking place on a world devoted to the machine gun, Unit Opticon 22 insists on his privileged status in the matter of strategy selection.
That's a pretty good argument, actually. Because I was just going to side with Thorvald, completely, but he does actually make a good point. This is a Mechanicus world.
Oof. Slightly better chance, but I personally prefer this argument. Answer me this, Thorvald. If Opticon 22 were to come to Fenris and start ordering you around, what would you do?
Fenris would never need to be liberated from the arch-enemy's servants. Wolf blood is indomitable, and you, Ophelia, should choose your words carefully, lest you provoke my honor, my anger.
I wish to remind you the Lord Inquisitor entrusted me with overseeing this war. You will show respect for my status.
Do you think these words would fill me with fear? The wolves are here because we wish to bring death to the heretics, not because your Lord Inquisitor commands it.
I shall now present to you the plan of our assault. The first step is obvious. We eliminate the machine cathedral's orbital support. But what planetary assault strategy will you choose following the destruction of the enemy Void Fleet? It does make sense that the Mechanicus should have higher priority for one of their own worlds. I would say the same thing if this was Fenris. Obviously, the Space Wolf should take priority in that situation. But at the same time, I would rather not just send people unnecessarily to their deaths, if it can be avoided. Even if it is a Mechanicus world, I am in charge And it doesn't make sense to me to waste troops when we don't need to. So we will begin by bombarding the enemy's position, and then advance cautiously. We must conserve our troops. Your plan bores me. This is not the Space Wolves' way of war, but such cowardly strategies are the limit of the omniscience cogcreels, so you have my approval. My pack will do all that is asked of it and stand at the vanguard of the assault, until we meet on the field of battle, Ophelia. Thorvald looks at Ulfar with a smirk, and I say the same to you, Ulfar, ever lost. 'Tis a pity your pack will not share in this glorious victory with us. Ulfar lets out a bestial grumble and says to you, that boastful Grisahoof talks too much about my pack. He knows where my brothers are, I can smell it. Before we dive into the carnage, summon him to your ship and let me question him. I wish to hear what he knows, while he still has not lost his blathering tongue to the heretics. Strategy confirmed as optimal. Updating the Skitarii tactical programs. Transmitting this unit's general blessing authorization for offensive action. The Lord Inquisitor will be delighted at the news of some semblance of order was established in the command. I wish you luck, Rogue Trader. Now, how do I summon him to the bridge? I assume I would go to the fleet on the map. The fleet on the map is not there anymore. Maybe if we just go into orbit. Let me just take a look on the bridge. Ulfar did want me to summon him, so let's just make sure I don't have to speak to Ulfar. Because, you know, they left. This is not where I wanted to go. God dang it. I do it every time. Here we go.
In honor of deeds accomplished and in expectation of those yet to come.
Why do you wish to meet with Thorvald?
If anyone knows where my pack brothers are now, he does. But it is not right to speak of such things within others' hearing. That is why I thought it better to keep silent at the War Council.
Inform Thorvald he's invited to board the ship.
I thank you, Edvater.
Thorvald has not come alone. With him a young brother in arms. With a mocking glance at Ulfar, he bellows. Thorvald Ironhide is here. Why have you summoned me, Rogue Trader? Speak to me. Ulfar's brash joviality has evaporated from his voice. Know you, Thorvald, whether the path of battle has led my pack, the baleful howl? You haven't lost your pack, have you ever lost? The young wolf's voice is strong and insolent and richly melodic. He tilts his head in mocking concern, watching Ulfar's complexion change to match the violent shade of his hair. We did not have a chance to talk properly at the council. I wanted to meet with you.
Ah, of course you do. Who would miss the chance to strike up a friendship with the illustrious leader of the equally illustrious Stormbiters? Go on, Halbrand, recite the saga of my exploits and make sure to include the landing in the Void Kraken's mouth. This is Halbrand the Brave, the most sonorous voice in my pack. Thorvald nods at the tall wolf, who seems to radiate the proud vigor of a warrior. I think you meant to say Halbrand the Braggart, no, for his verses often weave together the truth with his own flights of fancy. Ulfar smiles vindictively with a viciousness utterly unbecoming of an angel of the Emperor. Now it is Halbrand's turn to blush. Thorvald chuckles. Thank you for your correction, Everlost. I reckon we can do without the saga. Are all wolves so hostile to one another, or is there something personal between you two? Thorvald chuckles. It is only friendly nipping. If it were hatred between us, the walls of this glorious hall would have been long since painted with blood. Such is a warrior's nature, a wolf's nature. When we meet with strength, we test our teeth on it. Fucking hate Space Wolves, dude. Why couldn't it have been the salamanders, man? Ulfar huffs a laugh in response. But there is a personal side to it as well. The Stormbiters have always tried to best the baleful howl in the glory of their exploits. Tried and failed, for my pack was and remains superior. They disassemble so sweetly. They would tear each other apart at the first opportunity. Shut up, wretched captive. Halbrand does not even dignify Marzai with a contemptuous glare. He is not a captive. He is the rogue trader's Huskrell. Ulfar averts his gaze. Huskrell? A fine squad you found for yourself, Everlost. Why do you call Ulfar Everlost? You do not know. I am not surprised. Brother Ulfar does not care for the monarchy. He has had it since his early years in the chapter, when Ulfar underwent his trial at the Cup of the Wolfen. He took so much longer than the others that the rune priests gave him up for lost. Later, he received grievous wounds in raids that sent him into stasis sleep for a long time. Anytime we would pay a visit to the baleful howl, we would ask, "Where is Brother Ulfar?" And he was always resting. And recently he went missing altogether, lost after an attack on Xenos. Thorbald grins mockingly, his long fangs glinting. And forget not to tell of the dire curse that was of yore that was laid upon the mighty Ulfar. No good death for him is fated, only to one day be lost, bereft of glory and honor. Halbrand declaims the lines so sonorously and powerfully that the bulkheads begin to vibrate. Any who cross his path, let him regale and gladly that proud warrior, Halbrand Blatherskite, singer of rumors and fine tattler of tall tales, for he has glimpsed no worthy deeds in his short life. Do you know where Ulfar's pack is now? Feasting with the Allfather in the Hall of Heroes, I reckon, with Nord filling their horns to the brim as valor and loyalty did fill their hearts. Lies! Did you see their bodies? Which of the brothers will avow the truth of these words? Ironhide never lies. The young wolf's arms cut through the air like an axe, and he angrily points at Ulfar. And you, Everlost, watch your tongue unless you want my dagger to deliver a penance of eternal silence upon you. No, we did not see their bodies, but we heard their ranting and raving, which can only lead to the jaws of Morkai. I would like to know the details. In the battle which you, Everlost, Arnulf, and Skiadi were captured by the Xenos, the baleful howl took prisoners of their own. Under torture, the captive Xenos gave up the star coordinates of where they were to go next, and some important meeting. It seems the place was far away, deep in the uncharted regions where the servants of the Allfather have never ventured, and your brothers decided to go there. No navigator would dare lead them to those dark places, so your brothers seized a trading boat and voyaged there without a helmsman. That seems unfathomable to me. That a Space Marine chapter was unable to order a navigator to do this seems absurd. Like, navigators also tend to be pretty stuck up, but like, they're called the Angels of the Emperor for a reason. They're considered divine beings by basically everybody in the Imperium, except other Space Marines. It just seems really weird they couldn't get a navigator. So you abandon them to their grueling march. Ulfar's voice drops to a menacing rasp. Lower your hackles. I urge them not to throw away their lives in vain. Nothing but death could await them among those malevolent stars. We all came here to serve the All-Father and repay our blood debt, not to die for naught. Or have you forgotten that, Everlost?
Ulfar, what will you do with this knowledge?
I will not test our friendship at Vatir. I know that if I call upon you to go with me in search of my pack, I will be taking you away from important battles and the saving of your home. So I will go alone to seek my brothers, but I will not abandon you in your hour of need. I owe you. When we have defeated your enemies, I will leave you and follow the trail. That trail is bloody and has long since gotten cold, Brother Ulfar. There's no need to add another body to its tally. As the leader of the Stormbiters, I call you to our pack. Be a brother to us now. Ulfar gives the peaceably smiling Thorvald a penetrating look, his voice darkening and his voice dropping to a low bestial snarl. Have you lost your mind, Thorvald? Perhaps it is you who has lost his mind, if you're daring to speak so insolently to Ironhide. Halbrand's insinuating tone is dripping with such a menace that even the drawing of a sword could not have made his threat any clearer.
What makes you so certain they're dead?
When the baleful howl was setting off, we exchanged gifts, our pack runes. Every 10th watch at least cast the runes and saw what fate had revealed. 50 watches after the baleful howl left, the runes showed calamity. 60 watches after they left, death. Since then, the runes have been voiceless and their patterns hold no meaning. And that's it. The spirits deceive you. Your priest went a little soft in the head and forgot how to read his runes, and for that you give up on my pack for dead. Cowards. The runes do not lie, Ulfar, you know this. I am sorry about your brothers, but their fate is clear.
Why do you want Ulfar to join your pack?
He is our brother. He should not be left to wander the galaxy in the company of ordinary mortals, or alone. Wolves are like sharp knives. We hone ourselves against each other, and without brothers, Ulfar will rust and grow dull. Be with us, Ulfar. We will take you in. Go to hell, Thorvald. They'll take you in there.
Thorvald, your associate, who often speaks when no one addressed him.
Giving you a disgruntled look, Thorvald sternly cuts you off. When it concerns wolf matters, Halbrand will speak if he wishes. Do not forget that we are the chosen warriors of the All-Father Road Trader. Treat us like servants at your peril. Ulfar's eyes flash with fury. Stop there, Thorvald. This mortal rescued me from captivity and proved her valor. I'll not stand here and allow her to be disrespected. So you hold this mortal above your brothers. Being without a pack has turned you feral and stupid, Everlost.
Ulfar is right. He is loyal to his brothers.
Stay out of wolf business, Road Trader. I will not reveal the coordinates of the place to which your brothers traveled. Respect your alpha, Ulfar. This is an order. You are too quick to call yourself my leader, Thorvald. Go and bark commands at your pups. Who are you calling a pup, Everlost? Unlike your pathetic pack, we will soon go into battle and accomplish great deeds. But you, coward that you are, want to shirk your duty.
Space Marines are so annoying, aren't they?
Aren't Space Marines, and particularly Space Wolves, just kind of annoying to be around? Ulfar and Halbrand's roars merge into a single word. Duel. Do not ask. Whatever, man. Fucking go at it. A harsh shout drowns out the two wolves, who are ready to lunge at one another. Quiet, both of you. Have you forgotten where you are? Holmgang can only take place on solid ground, not on a boat. The void and the warp are treacherous and unfit to hold a duel of the worthy. And secondly, I am your superior, Ulfar, and so I am not asking, but ordering you to back up your chest beating with deeds. If the baleful pack is alive as you say, let it march with the Stormbiters and the assault on Euphrates too. Let it display the valor of all the stories tell of. Will you stand alone for all your brothers, or have you gone soft?
The wolf leader's tone may be threatening, but you notice a sly glint in his eye. Ulfar, on the other hand, is growling furiously, with no matching twinkle in his gaze.
We'll see about that. I'll prove the Stormbiters will never be a match for the Baleful Howl. Aitvetir, I must be at your side when you depart for the assault. Promise me you will grant me that honor.
Forbold, why will you simply not tell Ulfar where to look for his pack?
Forbold's face seems to sag under a sudden weight. When the Baleful Howl left, I became the highest-ranking wolf in the Expanse. I am the Alpha, and it is my duty to ensure that not one of the Allfather's chosen warriors loses his life for foolishness or fruitless ends. Not even Ulfar. I promise, Ulfar, we will march into battle together. If you prove that your words carry more weight than a battle axe, I will tell you where your brothers went. If you fail, you will submit.
Space Marines. Alright.
Let's get down onto that planet.